Question on Super Chat. Nous, Hermeticism, Hermes thought, Anthropos, the true vessel of alchemy being man, the Magnum Plus, M.A. Atwood. Would it surprise you that I read all this midsummer, only months before your videos went viral? Please extrapolate on the terms above and leave the New Age bullshit out of it. All right, so there's a lot there. What can you take from a question like that? Let's go. You want to go with one of these?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Hermes, we're going to call him Mercurius for the sake of argument. Okay, so I'm going to lay this out a little bit. This is an alchemical idea. So, first of all, if you mix mercury with ore that has gold in it, the mercury will pick up the gold. So that's interesting. Okay? So that's the magic of mercury, is that it will take the gold out of the raw material. Okay, so now remember at the beginning of the conversation I said that if you're going to read Macbeth, the idea is to extract out from it a valid, implementable philosophy, behavioral pattern. Well, that's extracting the gold out from the ore. Okay, so now Mercurius is also the winged messenger of the gods, and so he flits around. Now that's what your attention does, you see, because your attention is always being pulled in different ways by forces that you don't understand. This is the fundamental insight of psychoanalysis, and probably its most terrifying insight, is that your very attention is controlled by forces that you do not understand. Now, the ancient people considered those forces, it's more complex than this, but they considered them gods, because the gods could direct your attention. And so, now, how does Mercurius is the winged messenger of the gods. Okay, so now let's say the gods, we'll call them unconscious forces, or we'll call them gods. They're trying to orient you in a particular direction for some reason. They do that by making things more vivid for you than they would otherwise be. Those things attract your attention. Now,
interesting that this is just the same way you described the porn actresses a second ago.
Yes, yeah. yes. It's a very similar mechanism.
Yeah.
But some of that's your choice because you aim at something and then things manifest themselves. But some of that's the result of these unconscious forces illuminating parts of the world and darkening other parts. Well, they illuminate your path. Well, you could say that all those unconscious forces, imagine those as the pantheon of the gods. And they're trying to send you a message about how to act. Well, they do that by sending Mercurius, who flits around, and he's the thing that glimmers, that captures your attention. Okay, now the Jungian idea, it's a brilliant idea, is that the integration of all these unconscious elements, their integration into a functional unit, then manifests itself in your field of experience as an interesting pathway. And if you take that interesting pathway, you unfold. And so it's the manner in which the instinct that drives you to self-realization interacts with you. And so for Jung, he would say, well, that's the self. Jung thought of the self as a four-dimensional entity that extended across time and space. That was the totality of you. Mm-hmm. And he thought that that totality, which was ineffable, it's your full potential or something like that, manifested itself in cross sections of time as that which grabbed your interest. It's an absolutely amazing idea. You know, now and then, think about it this way. A book will grip you. Well, what does that mean? That it gripped you. It means it had you in its palm. Well, what had you in its palm? You know, these are things, and you're inspired by it. Well, inspired by what? What does that even mean? It means all of a sudden a new path has illuminated itself for you. And the Greek idea would be that the panoply of gods had sent a messenger, Mercurius, who flits around, and he captured your attention and pulled you down that path.
He's in that book, and ironically, you could burn that book in 2 seconds and it would be gone, but the path would be forever illuminated, which is really a beautiful thing.